Good morning. Hello. I am here to continue my little series on desensitization. Sometimes I find for myself personally, and research can show that oftentimes when we're feeling some discomfort, and I'm going to use low back, mid back as my example because it's the most common. So it's the easiest for people to relate to. Sometimes what we have is a place of some restriction. And if we can visualize the difference between the muscles and the fascia and try to get some movement in there, sometimes our nervous system will just settle down because of that. So what I want to show you, I've cobbled together a little something, is I have one example of erector spinae with this band. I could do both sides, but doing this by myself on my back was a little cumbersome. So I'm just showing you one side. That's the muscle. And then this big white sheath is the thoracolumbar fascia, and you can see it goes all the way up into your head. So it's no wonder that we say it's all connected, and that sometimes if there's tightness in the low back or mid back, it can travel all the way up into your neck. Or conversely, if the fascia is pretty stuck in your upper to mid back, it can create tension in both directions. So let's just do a little visualization. So imagine the muscle underneath the fascia, and what we want to do is create some glide. So we want to be able to get those two things to move separately. We don't want them totally stuck together. They have separate jobs. So let's separate them and give them an opportunity to work on their own. So a great way to do that is I'm going to take my right arm and I am going to just help myself get a little stretch. So what I'm doing when I do this is I'm getting that white piece of paper, that thoracolumbar fascia, to start finding some movement. And you can have your feet more narrow than mine or wider than mine. And now I'm going to make it sort of a little circular. You'll notice that I'm not doing a big twisting motion. This has been shown by Eric Franklin with a little more twist in it, and I'm not doing that because of low bone density. But this, I have discovered, works equally well to just stay in the lateral flexion plane. I'll show you from the back. My little paper is not going to move the way your fascia will move, but I'm trying to get a directional movement of my fascia. So I continue to do this just a little longer, seeing if I can visualize that white paper spreading over the blue strip of muscle, and it's gliding back and forth. So another good idea is to make sure you drink a lot of water. That will actually help. And then I'm just going to stop and relax for a moment and notice the difference. And just like yesterday, the side that I did that work on, my foot actually feels more connected to the ground. My low back feels a little freer on this side. And my shoulder actually feels a little lower on this side. Might not be, but it feels that way. All right, so now we'll do the other side. So same thing, I grab my elbow to make this happen. So I'm actually pulling a little bit. And then I might even visualize my shoulder blade doing the pushing and helping my pull from my elbow. So I'm just continuing to do the same thing I did before, and I've got my mind's eye on that white piece of paper, and I'm envisioning it reaching and moving and stretching and gliding over the muscle that goes up and down my spine, my erector spinae there, and maybe even my multifidus, the little muscles there. Good. Just a little bit more. reaching and taking a moment and feeling just a little bit more freedom. And then just to top it off, I feel a little more even. I'm just going to bring my arms together and I'm going to make a little circle. And I'll show you from here that I'm kind of reaching forward. And this time I've got my left hand on my right wrist. And then I'll switch it and put my right hand on my left wrist, still feeling like my shoulder blade is pushing and helping, so I'm not having to pull so much from the hand that's on the wrist. And then just reset, relax, move my head. And in all honesty, I feel a little more relaxed in my low back. So I've got another piece for us where we'll be on the ground, and I'll come back to you tomorrow with that one.